All right. It is Fired Up Friday. Better late than never. And I'm Rick at Studio USA. And I've got with me the lovely and talented Ashley Gentry, who also happens to be the 2024, is it Madam President? Is that?
Sure, that's what my husband calls me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm in good company.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So we have actually known each other and in this crazy world where, so I was affiliate chairman of Metrotex in 2015, 2016. And so it's one of those things where the paths cross and you might like fist bump or be like, hey, I know that person, just even like at the Aria Gala.
Yes, absolutely.
10 days ago or whatever.
Sure.
It was like, oh, hey.
It's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon in the real estate world, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I think if you stay in it long enough, everybody works for every broker. Everybody changes. Everybody, yeah.
Or you could be a control freak like me and open my own. And
Which
just be stubborn and obstinate.
I love. And
Yes.
that sets you up perfectly for the Winning Women's Wednesday.
Excited.
Because that's what it's all about.
Sure.
And so, but today our gimmick is we consult the Oracle for a topic that is business related,
Okay.
etc. And today it is hope.
Hope. Wasn't that sweet?
Yes. And it says hope is being able to see that there is a light despite all of the darkness. And that was from Desmond Tutu. And so, tying it into breaking news.
Okay, let's do it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid.
So, so 30 seconds ago, before we like hit the button to go live, I think the New York Times, and I'll let you
Sure.
decide. Yeah.
So the New York Times just broke the news that NAR just settled the class action lawsuit with Sitzer Burnett for $418 million.
Probably found that in the couch, just no problem. Like,
We'll just, I don't know, we'll move a rock. It'll be fine.
yeah.
It'll
Have
be
you
fine.
checked the console of the car?
The economy, inflation's great. You know, it's not
Piece
an
of cake.
issue.
But to tie that into now, there's hope for buyer's agents.
There is hope for buyer's agents. I think the biggest thing that everybody needs to understand is this does not change business.
Right.
I mean, what we do for a living is advocate for individual property owners' rights, home ownership, our clients, and that doesn't change what we do. It just reinforces that we need to provide our value, we need to articulate what our value is, and nothing's going to change. I think the biggest thing that people are going to discuss, though, Rick, is that compensation is no longer going to be housed in MLS. So you won't know if there is going to be cooperative compensation that is being offered in
that's
each listing.
interesting.
So that was something that we had heard that was going to be coming down the pike. And so I think for the agents that started to really already reframe that thought process of, hey, I'm not looking at a house based on what they're offering in compensation, because in all reality, when I represent a buyer, I charge the buyer to provide that service. Just sometimes the listing broker through the seller is offering my compensation.
Right.
So that doesn't change anything, Rick.
Well, and what we even like the guys that work for me and everything, where so like on the content creation side, it's like there are always the standout agents that are like, there's this stupid perception of like, oh, I'm just, like the standard thing is I'm the trophy wife that sells houses that sells houses to everybody at the tennis club or whatever, and they just literally show up, sign some papers, and get a check.
Sure.
And it's like that's not how it goes at all.
That is not how it goes. I have a lot of gray hair that I do highlights and lowlights to cover and blend naturally, because that is not it. It is a contact sport, sir. And I think that's nice that it's getting reinforced again, that it is not something where passively deals and transactions are coming to you. We have to go out there and we have to show our value and our worth. We're business owners just like anybody else, and I think this just reinforces the cream will rise to the top.
Yes, and to that, the business owner, the entrepreneurial thing, so my nephew is an agent, he has been for 10, and it's like, I don't necessarily, we don't focus on real estate on Fridays, but given the fact that the bomb just dropped.
It did.
So it's like we can see the mushroom cloud on the horizon.
A little bit.
So the bomb just dropped. So now I'm curious as to, especially with you having like the insider's perspective, where, you're at the captain's chair at the, number 4 board size?
I would love to say number 4, but we are number 5 in the nation.
Number 5 in the
I'm going to try harder.
There you go. There you go. Like I have a shirt that says "Nobody cares, work harder."
Yeah.
But
Shut up and earn it, I think, is on that shirt up there.
Yes, I saw that. So, and you're the first one that got like an official gimmick.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah. So hopefully that's not cropped in the shots, or we'll put it on.
Figure it out.
We'll make it the thumbnail.
Yes.
We'll make it the thumbnail. So. Going back to like the topic of hope,
Sure.
because so like when my nephew got into the business, it was literally, and I think this is almost like a universal. You're a buyer's agent right out of the gate. And so you got to be hopeful because you're essentially a glorified Uber driver.
Sure.
And so how like, okay, so you've got a team and so how do you bring people along where, you know, because the shine wears off fast
Oh, it
on
does.
anything. You know, it's like me historically, I was always a sprinter, like, ooh, I'm fast out of the gate. But like 90 days in, I'm like, this kind of sucks. You know, and then shiny object syndrome happens.
Sure.
So like, how do you keep folks sort of aimed at the horizon, but maintaining that sense of hope, being hopeful?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, so my team now is my husband. So we actually have a property management division, talk about shiny objects and other things too. And he runs that, and then I primarily run the residential side of the business. But I really focus on, you know, empowering and encouraging agents through what I'm doing through my volunteer leadership at Metrotex and at the state and national level. And I think that's the biggest thing is, you know, seeing these agents that really have a desire to do it the right way, and they get out there with the best of intentions. They're hopeful. They've got gleam in their eyes. And then about 30, 60 days in, they just look devastated. And I think to your point, I think they get out there with that excitement of, okay, I'm finally here. But people don't even realize, like, you haven't even started yet. I mean, we have to get into those foundational building block aspects. And I think that's where, you know, setting appropriate expectations is the biggest thing. And anytime a new agent comes to me and says, okay, well, what do I need to know? Well, you need to know you're probably going to eat dirt for about 2 years. I mean, right? I mean,
I love it.
That's
Facts.
it. Yeah, facts. And my thing is if you're ready to eat dirt and you're ready to do something amazing, are you willing to do that for 2 years to have prosperity for 20? You know, and that's it. You got to take the lumps up front. And that's what I did. I mean, people look at me now and they're just sitting there, must be easy for her. Oh my goodness, I remember the days where I'm sitting there counting coupons, and I still count coupons, by the way, but sitting there and trying to figure out, how am I going to put food on the table, food in the fridge? But I knew if I had to do it now. My husband came to me when my daughter was 3 years old. I was doing both. I was at home with her, was running the business. We had Red Branch, and he just said, we're never going to get this off the ground the way we need it to happen for our family if I don't stay home full time and you go and change the world. And so he did that when she was 3. He had the steady paycheck, he had the benefits, he had everything else. And there were some really scary lean times. And she's 10 years old, so we're into 7 years right now. But I look back, and even now, like, stuff gets hard. And you know what the amazing is? The hard is nowhere near the hard was 7 to 10 years ago. And so I'm thankful that even when things get a little bit leaner, that God has provided for me and my family, but we also had to be faithful. We had to have hope that we were making the right decision. And you got to have the right team, and the team was my husband. And I also own the brokerage with my mother, and so it is a family affair. But the crappy part is if I suffer, we're all suffering at the same time, which some would say that's a lot of burden, but at the same time, I wouldn't choose anything else, because if I'm going to be living in a ditch, at least it's on my own back.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And like, holy mackerel, you just peeled back like 17 layers of onion that I had no idea.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a lot of moving parts.
It is a lot of moving parts.
And it's like, I mean, being around family all the time is one thing, but then it's like,
Everything's intertwined.
yeah, everything is just absolutely spiderweb together.
Yep.
So now I'm curious, and by the way, kudos to the husband there for,
Yeah.
what would he be, the first man?
The first man.
The
Yes,
first man.
yes, the first man.
The first husband
Yes.
of Dallas real estate?
Well, you know what's great too, because he's found his own lane through all of this. He was such a sport. He used to laugh and he said, I have the best job in the world. I get to be a dad and to the most wonderful daughter, but I'm a well-kept man.
Amen, brother.
But you know what? It got to the point where I looked at him a couple of years ago. Obviously, we were in a really crazy peak market. And I just looked at him and I said, I can't find good help. So guess what? You're up. And he went and got licensed, and it's going on 2 years now. He's absolutely amazing. He's actually on the executive line for NARPM, which is the Property Management Association for Dallas. And so he's on the executive line for the Dallas chapter and is doing amazing things on that side. So through all of this, he's found a voice and a path for him to kind of have a little
That's awesome.
autonomy in the family business at the same time.
And like property management, is there a less exciting endeavor on earth. I don't know.
It's not that I think it's exciting, but you have to be a masochist and compartmentalization.
punch.
Yes,
Yeah, be able to take a punch.
I mean, that man can sit there and literally look at his phone. He's like, "Oh no, the second story flooded, and the whole thing needs to be redone." And he just looks at my kid. He's like, "Do you want to go to Culver's?" And I'm just like, how do you do that? And so that's why he's destined for property management.
Oh, man. Okay, so now I'm curious too. Like, okay, so if it's a family business,
Yep.
And you're in, how do you delegate? Like, it's like, how does that even work as far as, oh, this is a good thing for mom?
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, I had, like, my mom wouldn't have done, you know, anything that I would have suggested until it was already, every other avenue was exhausted.
You know, it's not always easy. And I'm an only child. My mom is absolutely amazing. You know, I wouldn't be sitting here today, even in real estate, if she hadn't taken that leap of faith when I was 15 years old and got her real estate license. And I watched her claw herself out of, you know, a completely different life and pioneer and become rookie of the year and Rockwall and, you know, all of these other things, and a trainer and educator. I mean, team lead for 2 KW offices. And so I got to watch her path first, and it really kind of set my trajectory.
Yeah.
Now it's splintered, you know, our paths have definitely splintered. And I think that's different is, you know, sometimes you still struggle with the fact that my mom is still one of the most intelligent, amazing women out there. But it is hard because we're splintering into maybe, you know, a business model that wasn't the norm 20 years ago. And I think you know this. You've been around the gimmick of real estate just a few decades yourself. It's not what it once was. And so you do have to have other scalable opportunities, revenue streams, marketing ideas. And so I do think you struggle on that side. So sometimes, you know, we're not perfect either. And, you know, working with family, I wouldn't do it any other way, but it is challenging. But I'm grateful that she kind of lived that legacy first. And then
absolutely.
I get to do the
and like, I mean, talk
effect.
about a kick-ass template.
Yes.
You know, where it's like, kind of what you were saying earlier about the, like, new agents come in, you know, and it's like, okay, you're going to get your ass handed to you for a couple of years.
Oh, sure.
And if you can't take a punch, this probably isn't, you know, if you're like easily offended or you get your feelings hurt.
I have one feeling, by the way. Yeah.
Well, because you and I both know, and like for me, the learning curve was I never found out that realtors are, like the real ones, are savages, like behind the curtain, because I didn't find out until I would get the reviews where I would teach a class.
Yeah.
And like they were so nice, you know, up front and in person or whatever.
They're trolls.
Oh, and then I'd get the, you know, because back in the day you'd get the hard copy review sheets,
Yeah.
and it's like a serial killer just right in there, and it's like slow down, you know, and it's like for me, thankfully I didn't have like super thin skin, and I took it as a like, apparently what I think is value in a class is not value for everybody else.
Sure.
And so I thought that if I didn't jam pack, you know, 50 minutes according to track regulations full of facts, that I wasn't delivering the goods. And it turns out like, no, they really just want like a couple of actionable items that make sense, that are practical.
Yeah.
And I had
Well, because it's like we're squirrels on a disco ball, Rick, and I know we're in good company because you, my friend, can be that way too. So if you give us too many shiny objects at once, we're just going to be paralyzed.
Everything falls.
Yes.
Yes.
It's done.
And so it's interesting too now the way that, you know, because when I started, I was a mortgage guy in a previous life. And now that gimmick is completely different. And I still have lender friends, you know, that I'm just like, bruh.
Well, guess what? And then my stepdad's a lender. Womp womp.
Okay, so do you have a cousin that has an insurance company or something?
You know what? We got this little tight knit five. My daughter now did tell me, and she goes, over my dead body, will I ever be a realtor? And I said, well, at least you know what you want to do, baby.
Oh, yeah, there you go. She's like, the madness stops here, no further. Okay.
She would rather do what you're doing here, Rick, and which I think is amazing because that has its place in the real estate business now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to that, you know, on the changing of the tide and the, because like one of the things as a marketing guy or, well, you know, marketing gimmick or whatever, the thing that has made me insane over the past few years kind of goes back to that thing of like, okay, you're going to eat dirt. However, there's a lot of folks out there that don't think that that's part of the process. And then it's like the trend of, hey, look at this David Weekley model home that's $1 million. And then they pretend like it's their listing.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like, that's, because I can look at that and go like, bro, nobody has a perfectly appointed
No.
foyer and all that stuff. You look at it and you go like, that's totally loaded to the gills with every builder option.
Well, then here's the deal. Fake it till you make it has its place, and I think that's other people call it imposter. Oh, do we have a?
Well, you blew my mind right out of the gate, and
Okay.
then the bomb dropped with NAR.
Yeah.
Normally I'm such a capitalist here.
I love it.
I'm shameless. Magic Mind. I love this stuff.
What is it?
It is like a matcha tea nootropic shot.
Ooh, I need to start.
You want one?
Yeah, I do.
Fridge. Magic Mind. Oh, I'm yelling into the mic like like they can hear me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'll wait for you. Okay.
Okay.
Shake it up.
Oh, look at this.
There we go. Product placement.
Okay, I love it.
Cruz, photo. Man, I got to teach these kids all the gimmicks, man.
I know.
It's
Gotta
like,
make sure because if there's no picture, it didn't happen.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, how can I tag somebody if I don't have photo proof? There
Perfect.
we go.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what do we just take the whole thing?
So, yep.
Okay.
Now we might have to start over because it would be like 10x smarter
Oh, I love it.
within like 15 minutes.
You can't handle this, Rick. 10x smarter, okay?
Oh, dude. Well, no, I'll be 10x myself as well. So
Okay.
the maths.
It's gonna level
works.
up.
Yes,
Yeah.
it absolutely works. Okay, so in today's world, what do you think is okay for the hopeless out there that are literally because it's like I see so I taught Ebby school
Right.
internally at Ebby. So every other month for 5 years, I saw the oven fresh champions grads, and so
If you actually go to Metro Text this morning, you can see 115 newbies sit there for
Orientation.
orientation, which looks so different than it used to.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, they're like cool and hip with ripped jeans and
Oh.
some in sweatpants. I mean, there's a new era, man.
And nobody's disillusioned yet. Or,
No, but that wouldn't have ever happened in the Ebby school. You wouldn't have seen ripped jeans and sweatpants.
Oh my, no. Well, there is, and I still to this day, I do think that there is a certain level of presentation.
Yeah.
As the agent, where to get over the stigma of whatever you're dealing with as far as like what people think.
Sure.
Well, then it's like also read the room, because like when I used to teach RPR, it would be like, okay, who in here has clients that are number nerds?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, boom, here's all the stats and all kinds of data that you
Sure.
could lose your mind on. And so that immediately puts you in a level of professionalism
Yep.
that most of the ripped jeans crowd isn't going to have. And it comes back to that thing of like looking at it like as a career. And so, like I said, you actually saw it from the point of like, oh, this shit is hard.
Oh, it's really hard. And I watched how hard my mom worked. And, I know it's difficult for families of realtors because our hours are not
Ridiculous.
they're not kind to us or our family. But what you're doing is, and I think that's what you have to understand is that person on the other end needs you to advocate for them in that moment. And,
Yes.
And that is the difference of we're not sitting there taking a takeout order and picking up the phone. It's in that moment, somebody needs you. And you have to assess really quickly whether or not it's something that needs urgency to it or it's an emergency. And what I do tell agents is you do have to teach people how to treat you. And that's what I tell my clients. I am here for you, but understand, hey, if it's after 8 o'clock and if it's something that's super important, feel free to text me, but I might not get back to you right away because I go to bed at like 8:30 because I'm up fighting the world, putting my cape on, right? But I tell my clients what they can expect from me in return in that dual communication. Now, I don't advocate for somebody putting a pre-recorded voicemail that says, if it's after 6 o'clock, you might not hear from me till Monday morning. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially at the pace that real estate moves. But you have to teach people what the expectation is. And so new agents, I also say that, don't burn yourself to the ground, but you have to be present and you have to be available to your clients. And so I think that's something that I did learn as technology allows us to disseminate information a lot faster and differently.
To do that. That's
Yeah.
exactly what, I think NAR brought RPR to Dallas in 2013 or 14 or
Sure,
whatever.
that sounds about right.
I was one of the first to train the trainer, and I was a lender then, so they let lenders and title folk like up to the velvet rope, but you couldn't really see past it.
Of
So
course.
you got access to some of the data.
Sure.
But, my takeaway from that was, and how I taught it was, realtors in the digital age are going to have to be the arbiter of information.
Yes.
Because any ding dong with a internet connection can think that they know what properties are worth. Just
Yeah.
fill in the blank of whatever ridiculous
Sure.
thing that the internet allows you to think you're an expert at.
Yeah.
And it's all there. However, and I'm curious your thoughts on this too, where, okay, so like number 5 market in the country. So like, my thought is in a crazy market like now where everything is just sort of like recalibrating and
Yep.
readjusting, that hyper local is the gimmick, is the gimmick of the future. There's an ironic balance there where it's, oh, wow, okay, so the internet allows me to be everywhere all the time.
Sure.
However, I don't necessarily really know shit about where I'm living.
Yeah.
Or where I want to move to. So then the hyper local thing comes in where, so anybody that comes into the studio or whatever, I try to get them to, the philosophy is like what's on the label matches what's in the can.
Yep.
And so,
I like that.
oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
look, it must be kicking in. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and my other product placement, Rambler, fizzy water from Austin, Texas.
Okay.
They always like my post whenever I tag
Okay,
them.
I love it.
Would you like one of these too?
Sure, why not?
Okay, Rambler. Oh, my goal is to get like one free drink by the end of 2024.
Just one.
Yeah.
Not a case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if Santa in Austin would send me a case, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then I've got a couple other things too.
Okay.
Like these are just brand new. These are total gimmicks, and so
Okay.
the jury is out. So we've got
We're
brain.
going to take a picture of this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Photos, come on,
Yeah.
dude.
Touch it.
You're hired.
Yeah. I love it.
And so here, check this. So I'm a huge fan. So I've been sober for 19 years, but I'm a huge fan of like this stuff, like the nootropics, and I think it like probably fills some sort of twisted thing of like, hey, let's monkey with our brain chemistry.
Dude, well, okay, here's the thing I think that people need to understand too, especially with realtors and people in the industry. We have to find those mechanisms to like level each other. What do we do? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So here, check it out. So we got brain fuel,
Okay.
and we've got brain support.
Okay.
So these are both like gummies.
Yeah.
They're not psychoactive, so we're not going to get like ripped and
Got
like
it.
see Aztec temples or anything.
Okay.
I think 2.
You think he thinks too, ladies
Well,
and gentlemen.
I'm from the school where if like the doctor says take one every 4 to 6 hours,
I
well,
can
then-
take 2 easily.
Well, then 3 right now ought to be badass.
Rick, I'm glad you've been sober for 19 years, sir.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Apologies to ex-wives and whatnot. Okay. I think one of these would probably do it.
Just one?
Off the top, yeah. Hey, if it doesn't kick in.
Okay. I have like a 5-hour executive planning. Oh, there's 2 in there.
Oh, here, we'll,
Yeah,
we'll
they're
split
good.
it.
Okay. Oh, it tastes good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like lion's mane.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing crazy, I don't think.
No, my supplement powder and everything else has the nootropics and the lion's mane and the turkey
Yes.
tail and
Oh,
everything else.
I just saw the turkey tail on the shelf, and I was like, wow, that's attractive packaging.
Yeah.
But I didn't get it.
We even feed our dogs turkey tail.
Really? Okay, what does that do?
I don't know.
But it has to be good.
Well, now my mom, that's the other thing she does now to try to find a sense of relief and control in this crazy world. She actually makes all of our dog food for the 2 houses. So our dogs eat better than most people.
Okay, that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, so they eat whole food. It's chicken and oatmeal and then fresh vegetables. And then we do a hard-boiled egg, the dehydrated eggshells, olive oil, cottage cheese, and turkey tail.
Okay, props. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So she's-
respect.
So she's busy. So if you see any type of chicken breasts on sale at any of the grocery stores, hit me up since we take all the chicken breasts from generally around this area.
So what's to connect to that? So my grandfather, who was one of the grumpiest old men probably
Yeah.
in the history of grumpy old men,
Okay.
he cooked his dog a chicken breast every day.
Yeah. Well, you got to think about it. Here's the deal. One, we got to keep ourselves healthier in this crazy, wacky world of being self-employed.
Do we?
And well, we should. And that's why I love that you're doing that because I'm really trying to, for my own being, you get older, like we were talking about before, your brain isn't firing as well as it used to and everything else. And so I'm trying to, I hate the term because I'm sure for somebody that's been sober for 19 years, people are saying sober curious. Have you seen it? It's
No.
so dumb.
Oh, I'm going to drive off a bridge.
They're making that a gimmick now. But it is something when you realize that this is your biggest moneymaker and asset.
Yes.
It used to be this, but Now it's this.
I never had that.
You never had that?
Yeah.
Okay. No, but so you have to start thinking about how do I feed my body and my brain in a better way? But then you can translate that to the dogs. And when nearly like 50% of dogs and end up getting cancer, there's something wrong.
Oh, yeah.
There's something that's changed because I'm sure your dad's dog lived a very different life than the dogs now as far as health expectancy or cancer or any of the other things.
And so I've always been a dog person.
Yep.
And it's like I like dogs as a rule, as a general blanket rule. I like dogs more than people.
Amen, sir. Yeah.
And
You can't lock people in kennels. They frown upon that.
yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
So I have had, so like if I planted a plant, it would be dead probably within like 72 hours. However, on dogs, my Schnauzer lived to be 16.
Wow.
My Bichon lived to be 18.
Wow.
And my Havanese lived to be almost 19. So I'm right now, for the last, I don't know, maybe 2 years or whatever, the first time in my adult life that I haven't had a dog.
Oh.
And so it's a weird thing where, and the other thing was my Havanese that died at like almost 19, favorite dog ever, you know? So
Little
it's like
broken heart.
yeah, and it's like, okay, you're not gonna beat that one.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I don't know, maybe when I'm doddering and like just I need something to like, you know, like an emotional support and maybe I'll get one. But
We just got another one.
how many is that?
We have 3.
Okay, 3.
Yeah, that's not bad, right? And there's 3 people in the household, so we're still on man-to-man. We haven't gone to zone defense yet, right? So we each can take care of
Man
one.
coverage.
We've got man coverage, so we got a Bernie doodle.
Okay, so
It's a Bernese Mountain Dog and a
I don't even know what that-
poodle.
give me like a size reference here. What do we got?
So a Bernese Mountain Dog is probably 100 to 140
I was
pounds.
gonna say, that sounds big.
It's, yeah, mountain dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big, furry, black, brown, white. So that's what they look like as a puppy. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. And then, so this is her. She's just a big fluff ball.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, yeah. She's only 5 months old. Here, I'll show you a funny picture. She's with Mark.
Dude, that's like a 10-year-old.
It's a 10-year-old. Mark or the dog?
The dog.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah.
No, he looks at least 13.
Yeah, shout out to Mark Goretzky. But no, so that's
Oh, see, I don't have my glasses on. Okay.
that's Mark Goretzky. It's like, yeah, is it Mark or is it...
Okay, that's hilarious. Okay, so no, he actually does look. They look like they're like they could go be in school together.
Yes, they could.
Yeah,
They
they're
could.
both in the 5th grade.
Yeah, so that's Penelope. And she's, I don't know how much she weighs, but she is a lot of fur. But then her mom was an F1 standard poodle. So. and
F1. There's like a classification.
Apparently.
Huh.
I don't know.
Okay.
But they're purebred poodle, but it's big.
Papered. We got
Big.
papers.
Papers. Well, I don't know. We don't have papers. But anyways, that's what it is. So she's probably going to be in the 80 to 100 pound range, but she looks like a Clydesdale because her feet like
That
have
dog
the
looks
coloring.
massive.
I know, but
and
she's
that just
so
looks
funny.
like trouble.
She is.
Well, you know, like for me, it was like, okay, so like I like big dogs,
Me too.
but big dogs are gonna big dog, and so like they knock over guitars and stuff, you know. And so there was a point in time, like number 2, where there was a big dog, and it was like I had to, you know, get used to the idea of like you can't be mad at the dog for being a dog.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, hey, if somebody leaves the trash out on the floor with all of the best intentions of taking it to the dumpster or whatever, however, the dog sees that, it's like, oh, look what you've given me.
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah. Oh my God, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
And then they're like, is that pizza? You know, and then they just rip it to shreds. And then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, okay, now if I come in there and I'm mad at the dog for being a dog,
You're an
oh yeah, I'm the bad guy.
You are the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I know. So yeah, no, it's interesting, but she's funny. So even when she's bad, and my husband's so bad, he's like, he just holds her and he's like, she's the baby, gotta love her. And I'm like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
That
not-
first year, kind of a hall pass.
Yeah.
Now I'm the same way. Now, what is your opinion on old dogs? Because like old dogs for me get time served.
Oh,
You know, and so like my dogs, whenever they would get to a point where, you know, she could have just peed right there on the floor in front of me. Okay, no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Got stone floors. It's good. You know, the bed. Okay, that's problematic, but I'm still. You know, so I got to a point where okay, I'm not. And you got to pick them up. And you got to do
Yeah.
it. And so that is like my recollection of dogs now because they all live to be like so.
And it's a
old.
completely different life when the dogs get that old.
Yes.
And I had my soul dog was my miniature dachshund. which is the antithesis of what I have now. I grew up with German Shepherds.
Yeah, that thing's like 6 of them.
Yeah, no, I grew up with German Shepherds, and then I ended up getting a miniature dachshund when I'm single, right before I met my husband. But she was great. She was like 10, 11 pounds, and I'd stick her in the sweatshirt. And dachshunds, if anybody knows about dachshunds, they like pick their person, and that's it.
Well, like my Havanese, I think was like just under 8 pounds.
Yeah.
So it was. I'm a total. It's like, you know, the guys all say like, dude, you know, because I'm like somewhat abrasive and somewhat like, you know,
That was your whoopee.
off the chain as far as like whenever I'm
why we love you, Rick.
unsupervised. Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
And everything I do is kind of NC-17 whenever we're not like in a formal setting. But I'm a huge fan of the boutique dog.
Yeah.
Where it's like I want this little thing that, you know, and then like the smaller dogs seem to be smarter. Or at least that's my, you know, maybe I'm prejudiced.
I think they could also be compensating for their size.
Yeah.
You think that might be what it is?
That's impossible. Nobody would ever do that.
No, I think it's just different. But Lucy was insanely smart. But I thought it was really cute because my husband had a dachshund when he was growing up, and he kind of knew that. And so when we first started dating, at one point she was on one end of the sofa and he was on the other, and he said, "I guess you're wondering what my intentions are with your mother." And he would pour her filtered water. And when I was working, I met him as a bartender at a biker bar. You got to have your start somewhere, right?
Wow.
Real estate by day, biker bar at night.
Dude, that's hardcore.
I know. Thank you. But that was one of those things that I was working late nights, so he would take her with him and make sure that she wasn't home alone. And so I got a glimpse into how he'd be as a dad. And I
There
thought
you
that
go.
was amazing because Lucy didn't love everybody, but that was her daddy. And
Well,
so,
I always used it as proof of my,
you have a heart?
or just lack of psychosis. where
Oh, okay, we're just going to go there. Not the heart, just lack of psychosis.
let's not be hasty.
Okay.
But just it's like, well, clearly I'm not completely insane because I love dogs and the dogs love me.
Yeah. You don't have cats.
No, not a cat person. I mean, I don't have anything against cats, but I don't really have anything for cats either.
No, that's the same thing. My daughter likes to torture me. So for my birthday, it was my birthday last month, she got me, I would call it a gag bag. And one of them was a cat statue because she knows I don't like cats. Well, I don't have anything against cats. I would save a cat. You know,
Yes.
I'm equal
Don't be
opportunity
mean to
animal love.
cats.
No, absolutely not. I don't mix with their personality.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand it.
It's like I want unconditional love and devotion from this thing that depends on me for everything.
Yes.
And then
Cats are too autonomous.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
need that. Why do I need an autonomous animal? Okay.
And I think if it's a cat, it's like you're pretending that you love me. You know, it's like this is just your clever ruse.
They're a sociopath.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want me to live? Are
Right.
you watching?
Look, I'm doing a cute thing.
Yeah. Meow.
Whereas like the dogs, they're just all about it.
Yeah,
You know,
they're
and
the
it's like,
Joker.
well, and there's the thing, you know, and it's a kind of a, you know, stereotypical joke or whatever. It's like you could go get the mail and be gone for like 7 minutes,
Oh.
and they have no concept of time.
No.
So it's like you just came back
Best
from.
friend.
Yeah. Oh my God, where have you been?
Yeah. All my life. Yeah.
And so now, inside dogs or outside dogs?
Inside dogs. We have a doggy door. Yeah. I don't.
Oh, doggy door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have a doggy door.
So I'm like the tiger mom of dogs, where it's like I would not, and especially after they get to a certain age,
Well, you had little dogs.
and I wouldn't let them ever go anywhere without like. So we would never walk without a harness.
Yep.
Not a choker,
Yep.
a harness.
Yep.
And then like I got to a point where I would overpay to such degrees to have the mobile groomer come to
Oh,
my
yeah.
house, you know, because the first time I ever saw like, okay, dog groomer chaos, where it's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, you let them, oh, they're pack animals. Bullshit, they're pack, you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like my dog is not a pack animal.
I know. I've already ventured in and tried to groom the Penelope beast myself, and I'm watching videos, and I'm sitting here because
Add
I
that
don't like
to
the
your-
grits.
add
I
that to your
know.
resume.
That's another gimmick that I
Well,
can
hey,
have.
yeah,
I can
add
come
that
to
to
your
your list
house
of
when we're doing a
gimmicks.
listing appointment, and I can shave your dog's butt. It's great. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So I was going to go somewhere there with the glands and
Yeah.
this used to be a barbershop where we're at right now.
Okay.
So like maybe we'll turn it into a dog grooming gimmick too.
Why not?
Yeah.
Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Just like a shared workspace. Like, hey, come in, get your haircut, do a podcast, make some green screen content.
Why not?
I love it.
I think so.
So okay, so now we'll try to dovetail back into the topic, but like this is like okay, so obviously she's not Wayne, I'm
Yeah.
not Wayne, Wayne's not here, and did
This
Wayne?
is Wayne's World, but we're just living in it right now.
Oh wait, what did he say? Oh, remember this week I'm in Canada. Maybe I didn't clarify that. So that explains a lot.
Yes. Wayne
And-
was supposed to be here.
No, actually, Wayne was supposed to be in Canada, which
well,
he is.
Well, Rick thought Wayne was
Yes.
supposed to be here.
And so, like a puppy, I was at the door, like, where's Wayne? Where's Wayne? And turns out Wayne's in Canada.
It's okay.
And that's okay.
Next time.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, it's like, I don't know, this was a lot of, I mean, it's like we completely drove off the map.
Wayne might have been upset if we drove this far off.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So we'll have to come back
Yes.
at a later
well,
date.
No, not now. Now you are, so to tie it all back into the gimmicks here, you are cordially invited to Winning Women's Wednesday.
Awesome.
Because, I mean, you fit the bill all the way down the line.
Thank you.
And the fact that I love that you had the good template of the mom,
Yep.
where it's like, you know, this is what it looks like.
Sure.
And then you went out and did that and then took it one more,
Sure.
you know, notched it up a
Absolutely.
little bit.
Yeah, that's
So
what I do.
now, let's finish on hope for
Let's finish not dog grooming buttholes or nootropics. Or
those words have never been said in this facility
You're welcome.
before. Yes.
And this is sparkling water.
You like? Mm-hmm. So, hey Rambler, what up?
Yeah.
Oh, what about your brain? You feeling it?
I do feel on fire. I also had a protein shake downstairs with my nootropics in it, so I'm probably
Oh,
on
you're
overload.
like- oh,
and I
yeah.
had some like life greens in there too. So I'm
Like that shit that looks like just like yard
yeah,
dust.
yard trimmings. Yes. Yeah. So we're trying all that.
Does that do anything?
I'm hopeful it does.
Well, because like for me now, like with all these gimmicks, it's like even if it's psychosomatic and I think it's working, doesn't that mean it's working?
I would say so, at 100%.
Right. But I would still take the free ones.
Still take the free ones. Well, of course, everybody
Yes.
loves the free.
Well,
Even
and-
if I can buy it for myself, free. My husband says this. He's like, my favorite beverage is free and then cold.
Yes. Not necessarily in that order.
No.
Free, well, actually, no, in that order.
Yeah,
Yes.
free and then cold.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
do you drink, like back in the day, it'd be like, do you drink X? And it's like, is it,
Free.
are you offering free? Is
Yeah.
it like free of charge? I absolutely do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I hate wine, but there were times I'm like, ugh, this shit's awful. Is there anything left?
Yeah.
You know? Oh. So, hope.
Hope.
Okay, so now, we'll see, like, check this out. We just dovetailed all the way
I
back
love
to the
it. We're
beginning.
landing the plane.
Yes, we are. We are bringing it in.
'Kay.
So, 2024.
Yep.
Already insane.
Mm-hmm.
2023, asses and elbows, completely bonkers.
Correct.
Now, the bomb drops this morning.
Yep.
So, what do you say as far as the outlook now for 2024?
It's hopeful. You know, I think anytime there are threats, that means there's also massive opportunity. And I think that's what people lose sight of. You know, you were talking about eating dirt and, you know, so was I and everything else. Sometimes you have to like awaken that dark place inside, because that dark place comes out in beast mode, and that's where the change occurs.
Yes.
When life is easy and you get real complacent and you're just
Soft.
nailing it, you're soft, and I don't like soft. So sometimes I go, when stuff starts getting hard, it's like, okay, I'm in that mode right now. Like I needed to land that plane and just be quiet for a minute. And I feel like from the association side specifically, people always ask, like, you have a thriving business, you do all this other stuff. How do you have time to volunteer? For me, it's not about time to volunteer. It's prioritizing the fact that this is where I can change the industry that I love, and that's living a legacy and leaving a legacy for other people and my daughter. And so I couldn't do anything else. And for me, if people are going to have a say as to how I run my business, what that looks like, how I advocate for my clients, well, I need to be at that table. And so I made that determination a few years ago that, you know, as the association, I could bridge that gap between the realtors that started in the business 20 and 30 years ago, which looked very different. The avatar of a realtor 30 years ago is very different from the avatar of the realtor today. And I think that's so important. Both have a place in this world. And so I could be that conduit between those two worlds. And now going into the industry where we do have so much information at the consumer's fingertips, it's great. It's honestly great, because I don't want to be a paper pusher. I don't want to just send a listing, open a door. I want to be a champion. And so now I get to level up, and I don't have to do all these ancillary administrative tasks and all those other things, because my clients have that stuff already at their fingertips.
Send them some links.
Yes, you know, and so for me on the association side, it's really empowering our members to understand nothing has changed. In fact, it's just gotten a little easier and a little bit more quiet. Settle down the noise and do what you do best. Grind it and find that beast mode. And that looks different for everybody. And so for MetroTech specifically, our goal, we're one of the named co-defendants in the state the 2 state lawsuits, along with the other 3 larger associations in the state, Texas Realtors, and several other co-defendants. In fact, we have more defendants in the 2 cases in Texas than anywhere else in the country. And, you know, we go bigger in Texas.
That's true.
We do go big in Texas. And so for us, even that, you sit there and you go, oh, that sucks, Ashley. You're president of the association. You guys got served with 2 multi-billion-dollar class action lawsuits. And I turn around and I say, you know what? That's a threat, but the opportunity is to potentially provide an umbrella of coverage for every single one of our members and to set a precedence in fighting these lawsuits to say, members, you're now taken care of. As a part of how we're going to fight this, that's our goal. Our goal is to sit there and fight in front and have that Kevlar and to be able to give hope to every single realtor, and not just our members, but realtors in the state of Texas and in this country, to say, hey, we're not going down because what we do matters. And that's what I'm hopeful for, that continues to resonate through 2024.
I love that. So, okay, now I'm officially fired up. I'm going to go kick holes in the sheetrock.
But not in this nice stuff that you've done here in your green screen and everything else.
Correct.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Of course.
And so like I said, you are automatically bumped to Winning Women's Wednesday. And we're going to try maybe to do one with Michelle at the Oaklawn MLS meeting, to do one live.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So like, hey, talk about like, let's do something really insane.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because I do Real Talk for the association, which just shows, again, disseminating information in a different way. It is the most engagement that we get on anything else we do as the association is this, and getting our members in an approachable way on the other side, and getting this information out there. But we want to start doing them quarterly in person instead of on our live stream. So if you have any ideas how maybe we can outfit that, and
Absolutely.
you guys maybe could be a part of helping us with that production,
I love it.
We would love it.
Absolutely. And so to that, we'll see you at the white party.
Of course, April.
Yes.
Okay.
And so this will be Cruz's first time to go because we're going to shoot it. So it'll be his first time to actually to see all that. So like I've been taking him, basically to all of these different events that are just because like once you like kind of break through and get, because it's so funny. I'll say this and we'll wind it down, but it's like the hope for me, or the sort of like quote unquote faith, for lack of a better term, came from just suiting up and showing up.
Amen.
Because then it becomes math, where it's like if I've done this hard thing one time, okay, that's one. That sucked. Hope I never have to do that again. But by the time
that sounded like high school.
Yeah. Speaking of that, oh my God, the old Park Cities MLS meeting. Yeah. I used to tell everybody like, and I'm like, I don't know why I go to this shit. It's like the first day of high school every
cafeteria.
Tuesday.
I know, it's fantastic. We're sadists.
But you do that enough times, the math adds up. We're like, oh, now they know me. Now they like me. Yes. And now if I actually go, they say hello and they get you a plate. We're having breakfast tacos,
But Rick, to that point, and I know we keep on landing the plane and then popping it back up for a second, but that's what I also tell people is when they're so fearful of walking into a new space because they don't know anybody, and that's our natural insecurity. But I can tell you, I still feel that way. I'm sure you might still feel that way sometimes when it's a completely new room, and all I have to keep on telling myself is, all of these crazies feel the exact same way that I do, right?
100%.
Everybody is sitting here going, this is the first day of high school all over again. And so if you just genuinely go there, shake somebody's hand and smile, it's amazing. It just breaks down that barrier. So I would also say, if you're uncomfortable, guess what? So is everybody else. So join the club.
Yes.
Just put yourself out there.
We'll close it with this. So it's like we both agreed that this shit is hard.
Yeah.
And then if you ask yourself, well, did you think this was going to be easy?
Yeah.
And you would say, well, no. And you're like, okay, well, this is what hard feels like.
Let's do it.
Right on.
I love it.
Awesome.
Man. This is great.
Woo.
Hey, can I tell you one thing, though?
Yes.
Don't ever feed me sparkling water again, because I've had to hold in like 3 burps on this microphone.
Oh, no, you're free to let it fly.
Okay, got it. This is awesome. Thank you again.
Cheers.
Cheers.